Today I'm going to be talking about Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. I absolutely love this entire symphony, but today I'm going to focus on only one of my favorite parts. Of course, this is the symphony with the famous da-da-da-da motif, but I'm not going to talk about that today. I would first like to say that I'm analyzing this music as a songwriter first and foremost, not as a professional music theorist. I am simply looking for inspiration for my own music, and giving you an insight into how I like to analyze music, and how I like to pick it apart to come up with ideas for my own tunes. Let's play a little guessing game here. For all the Beethoven heads out there, can you recognize the melody that goes over top this chord progression? Did you guess it? Well, maybe not yet, but here's the names of all the chords. F minor, A flat with a C in the bass. This is also referred to as a first inversion, A flat major chord. Then we have E flat 7, and finally A flat major. Next, let's hear the melody. I'm sure all the Beethoven fans will immediately know where this piece of music is within the symphony. Okay, now that we know this piece of music, let's get back to talking about the chords. For me, the greatest emotion happens when it goes from the F minor chord to the A flat with a C in the bass, the first inversion. I personally like these type of inverted chords, and I try to use them as much as possible in my own music. So now let's hear the chords with the melody. It's truly a finely crafted melody, and let's pick it apart into all its basic elements. First, we have these three notes as a type of pickup or lead-in to the main melody. This next section I like to think of as a type of motif because it repeats twice, and the rhythm is very pleasing as it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And please excuse my bad singing, but I think it gets the point across well enough. This melody also really accents the waltz feel of this piece. This last part of the melody is very simple as it hangs on one note, and then there are 4 notes that act as a type of period at the very end of the melody. And it gives a great sense of resolution as it hits that last note. So in review, we have a pickup, a motif repeated twice, a sustained note, and then 4 notes at the very end that act as a type of period. Again, I'd like to restate I'm not a professional music theorist, these are just names I gave to the parts. Now as a songwriter, I would really like to have fun with this. After I've established the chords and the melody, I would really like to throw a drum beat on this. You can hear how these drums work over the first 2 chords, but for the last 2 chords, the melody needs some tweaking to fit the rhythm properly. I would like to note that you must use 124 notes to create this rhythm properly. Earlier I did refer to this as a type of waltz rhythmic feel. I would like to make some general observations here. For me, many of the melodies in classical music are very beautiful. However, for me, many of the rhythms they use were quite old-fashioned. And that's why I'd like to straighten out some of these old-fashioned rhythms with a modern drum beat. Next, let's create a looping cycle out of this. In classical music, many melodies are only played once before moving on to the next section. For me personally, I would like to hear some of these beautiful melodies looped a couple times before moving on to the next section. Now that we have an entire looping section, you can go on and do anything with this you like. If you're hoping to write an original song from this, the very first thing you're going to want to do is change the melody and make it your own. And of course, using the exact same chord progression is totally fine. Now getting back to Beethoven's version, here is a MIDI file version that I pulled off the internet. By the way, if you want MIDI versions of these songs, I recommend this website. And if you want to hear this melody in context to the entire symphony, go to this YouTube video and go to the 8-minute 44-second mark. And as a bit of a tangent, I would like to talk about the world's very first recording of this masterpiece. This recording was done in 1910. It's truly amazing to think that this recording was done exactly 102 years after the original was completed. Thank you for watching 5YT Music.